Damien Cross's eyes gazed from the glass walls of the city's most luxurious hotel at the glittering view of New York, it was hard to believe he was 24 years old. In those eyes lay twice his age in experienced pain, and most importantly, cold determination. The whiskey in his crystal glass hung in the air before touching his lips. His phone had rung. "Mr. Cross," they called from Washington. "The deal has been canceled," said his assistant Blake, with barely concealed anxiety in his voice. Damien turned slowly. Even that movement was calculated, theatrical, yet threatening. "Canceled." His voice was so calm that Blake's hair stood on end. "For what reason?" "The rival company made a higher offer," Blake continued, keeping his eyes down. "Sterling Industries. They offered 3 times our bid." A cold smile appeared on Damien's lips. This smile made Blake even more uncomfortable, because that smile resembled the calm before the storm. "Sterling Industries," Damien murmured, setting his glass on the table. "Isn't that Marcus Sterling's company?" "Yes, sir. The same Marcus Sterling." Damien walked toward the window, his steps silently disappearing into the carpet. Marcus Sterling, 10 years ago, when Damien was only 14, the man who destroyed his family, the man who stole his father's company, drove his mother to suicide, threw Damien onto the streets, and now in the final stage of Damien's 10-year plan, he had appeared before him. "Blake," said Damien, his voice so calm it was almost a whisper, "bring Sterling Industries' financial reports from last month to my desk. Also, I want Marcus Sterling's personal schedule." "Sir, obtaining this information." "Blake." Damien turned and looked at his assistant. That look was enough. Blake left the room without saying a word. When Damien was alone, he took out an old, worn photograph from his pocket. In the photo was a happy family. His father, David Cross, his mother, Elena Cross, and little Damien. On the back of the photo, in his mother's handwriting, it said "Happy Family." Damien studied the photo for a long time, then put it back in his pocket. Marcus Sterling didn't know him. Why would he? 10 years ago, Damien was just a small child, but Damien knew him very well. Every detail, every weakness, every dirty secret, because for the past 10 years, he had done only one thing: searched for ways to destroy Marcus Sterling. Blake returned an hour later with files in hand. "Sir, Sterling Industries' financial situation is worse than expected. They've lost 3 major projects in the last 6 months. This Washington deal is vital for them." As Damien flipped through the files, he maintained a cold expression. "Marcus Sterling's personal information. He divorced his wife last month. The alimony case is ongoing. Also," Blake hesitated, "also, he has gambling debts, sir, in Las Vegas. Quite a substantial amount." Damien's eyes gleamed. This was the opportunity he had been looking for. "Blake, immediately call our contacts in Las Vegas. Find out who's financing Marcus Sterling's gambling debt." "Right away, sir." That night Damien didn't sleep. He was making plans, building strategies. Toward morning, his cell phone rang. "Mr. Cross, Salvatore Martinelli calling, from Las Vegas." Damien laughed. Salvatore Martinelli was one of Las Vegas's most famous lenders, and Marcus Sterling falling into his hands was a perfect gift for Damien. "Salvatore, old friend," Damien said into the phone. "Damien, I heard you have business with Marcus Sterling. That man owes me $2.5 million. He can't pay. Can you handle this situation?" "Of course. I'll pay his debt. In return, I'll take his shares in the company." "Deal. But Damien, this man is dangerous. Be very careful." After Damien hung up, he looked at himself in the mirror. He was no longer that small, helpless child. He was strong, intelligent, and most importantly, relentless. Nothing Marcus Sterling could do would stop him. The next day, Damien went to Sterling Industries headquarters. He handed his card to the security guard. "Damien Cross, CEO of Cross Enterprises. I have an appointment with Marcus Sterling." The security guard checked the list, confused. "Sir, no such appointment is on record." Tell him that the son of his father's former partner has come. He wants to meet. 10 minutes later, Marcus Sterling came down from the elevator. In his 50s, his hair graying, but still maintaining a confident posture. He was surprised when he saw Damien. "Are you David Cross's son?" "Yes, Damien Cross. I have an important offer for you, Mr. Sterling." Marcus led him to his office. The office was luxuriously furnished, but Damien paid attention to details. The paintings were fake. The carpet was worn. The items on the desk were cheap. Sterling Industries was truly in financial crisis. "I'm listening," said Marcus sitting at his desk. "Withdraw from the Washington project." Marcus started laughing. "Are you crazy, kid? That project will save my company." "No," said Damien in a calm voice. "That project will destroy you, because I'm gonna take that project from you. And not just the project. I'm gonna take everything from you." Marcus's face grew serious. "Who do you think you are?" "I am Damien Cross, David Cross's son. The little boy whose father you betrayed 10 years ago, whose company you stole, whose family you threw onto the streets. But I'm not little anymore, Marcus, and the time for revenge has come." Marcus stood up angry. "Get out. I'm calling security." "Before you call security, you should know this. I bought your $2.5 million debt in Las Vegas. You now owe me. Also, I'm paying the lawyers your wife used in the divorce case. They're my men now." Marcus's face paled. "This is impossible." "Nothing is impossible, Marcus. You just need to be smart and determined enough. I'm asking you one last time. Will you withdraw from the Washington project?" Marcus sat at his desk, his hands trembling. "What do you want?" "Justice. I want my father's company back. I want my mother's honor back. And I want you thrown onto the streets just like you threw us onto the streets 10 years ago. I was in a different situation back then. I'm sorry. Regret is a luxury, Marcus. For 10 years I couldn't afford the luxury of regret. For 10 years I couldn't afford the luxury of regret. I grew up in cold hunger, loneliness. Now it's your turn." Damien stood up, straightened his jacket. "If you don't withdraw from the Washington project by tomorrow evening, I'll start collecting your debt. And not just your debt. I'll collect everything from you." He left Marcus there, and walked out. As he walked down the corridor, it felt like the ghosts of the past were walking beside him. With each step, his mother's last words echoed in his ears. "Damien, be strong. One day everyone will know who you are." The next morning, Blake came running into his office. "Sir, Sterling Industries announced they're withdrawing from the Washington project. The project is yours." Damien was looking at the city from the window. "This is just the beginning, Blake. No, the real game starts." That afternoon, a call came from Marcus Sterling. His voice was broken. "Damien, please, let's meet. We need to talk." "Pod Cafe at 6, said Damien and hung up. At 6 o'clock, when Damien arrived at the cafe, Marcus was already there. It was possible to pity the man's condition, but the feeling of pity had long died in Damien's heart. "Sit down," said Marcus in a trembling voice. Damien sat down and placed his order. Marcus wasn't drinking anything. "Listen, Damien, I apologize for what I did in the past. I truly apologize. But please don't destroy my company. There are 200 innocent people working there. My father's company also had 150 people working there. Marcus, did you think of them when you threw them onto the streets? I know you're right, but please, Marcus." "Damien, I know you're right, but please, Marcus." Damien interrupted. "This conversation isn't about regret. It's about justice. And justice doesn't get emotional when it comes to you." Marcus leaned over the table. "I'll give you whatever you want. I'll give you 50% of my company's shares. Let's be partners." Damien laughed coldly. 50%. "Marcus, you still don't understand the seriousness of the situation. I don't want to be a partner in your company. I want to own your company." Marcus's eyes filled with tears. "This is too cruel, Damien. When I was your age, were you my age?" Damien's voice hardened. "When I was thrown onto the streets at 14, you were 40 years old, experienced, powerful. You had choices. I was just a child. But that child grew up, Marcus. And as he grew up, he swore never to become like you. Marcus stood up. "You're no different from me, Damien. You're doing the same
also stood up, leaving money on the table. There's a big difference between us, Marcus. I don't target innocent people. I only focus on you, and this focus on you, and this focus will continue until I destroy you. Just like you destroyed me until I destroy you, just like you destroyed me 10 years ago. As he left the cafe, Damien pretended to check his cell phone, but was actually watching Marcus. The man sat at the table, buried his head in his hands, and was crying. Damien felt nothing. No pity, no regret, no satisfaction. Damien felt nothing. No pity, no regret, no satisfaction. That evening, Damien sat alone in his penthouse apartment. He was looking at his father's old photographs. David Cross looked young, hopeful, strong, just like Damien now. Dad's dead. Damien whispered, I'm taking your revenge. But why do I feel so empty? The free mate. But why do I feel so empty? The phone rang. It was Blake. So Marcus Sterling said he's ready to sell all shares of his company. He wants to discuss price. Let's see him in the office tomorrow. And Blake, yes sir, be fair. Let's finish this business clean. The next day Marcus Sterling came to Cross Enterprises for the first time as a defeated man. Damien met him in the conference room. Documents were prepared on the table. You won, Damien, said Marcus, prepared on the table. You won, Damien, said Marcus. I'm transferring all shares of Sterling Industries to you. In return, I only ask that my employees don't lose their jobs. Damien shuffled through the documents. Your employees will keep their positions. They're not at fault. We'll keep their positions. They're not at fault. Marcus signing. The company was officially Damien's. But after signing, Marcus stood up and looked into Damien's eyes. You know you become like me, don't you, Damien? Damien was collecting the documents. What do you mean? Cold, calculating, merciless, just like me. Revenge changed you. Damien's changed you. Damien stopped, looked at Marcus. They're not like you. Are you? What do you feel after taking this company? Happiness, peace, or more emptiness? Damien couldn't ask, because Marcus was right. His 10-year struggle had ended. His 10-year struggle had ended. But he felt completely empty inside. Damien, Marcus continued. Getting revenge is the easy part. The real difficulty is finding out who you'll be after revenge. After Marcus left, Damien sat alone in the conference room for a long time. He was looking at the city from the window. He was now powerful, rich, successful, but he was also alone, in pursuit of revenge. He had forgotten how to be human. That evening, Damien visited his father's grave. He stared at the headstone for a long time. Daddy took your revenge, but now I don't know what to do. But now you promise, and I can't but why do you promise? And I can't need to make a promise to myself too. The wind was blowing the leaves. Damien took out his cell phone, to myself too. The wind was blowing the leaves. Damien took out his cell phone and called Blake. Blake, arranged a meeting with Sterling Industries' former employees tomorrow. I'll explain the company's new vision to them. What kind of vision, sir? My father's vision, Blake. My father's vision, Blake. My father's vision, Blake. A company that respects people, values family, and is honest. When Damien hung up for the first time in 10 years, he felt hope inside. Maybe Marcus was right. Maybe Marcus was right. Maybe the real difficulty after revenge was learning to be human again.